the list. Nanda Krishnan, yeah, can you? Hope I was audible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so can you give me a quick definition of what project management is?
Sir, it is a prohibited.
Good, good, good. And anything else to add?
Under a proper guidance.
Yes, Kevin, I'll call you Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. And you have covered most of it. Basically, that is what project management is about. You'll have to own the project, like when daily on track, if they are using the correct materials and the quality materials, and will the outcome of that construction will be as per your requirements. So that is basically a role of a project manager. So project management is to define project management. It is pretty simple. To lead the team to satisfy exact requirements from the customer, and also to focus on the company margins or the company profits. So that is a quick glimpse about project management. And I have a couple of slides as well. I'll just start my presentation and then discuss more. So let me know if my slideshow is visible for you guys.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. And so this is the agenda for today. So it is going agile, what agile is, and how it is different from our traditional project management approach. And the agile manifesto, we have a couple of values and principles that we have to follow in agile. And Scrum values. Scrum is a part of agile, and we have Scrum teams and roles. Scrum 353. I'll discuss it later. And finally, we can have a quick discussion on your understanding, or if you have any clarifications. And that is our primary agenda for today. And okay, so basically coming into project management, I'm not sure if you guys have read about or studied about project management in any of your subjects, but I'll start with the basics. Project management is divided into two. One is the traditional method or the waterfall method. Waterfall method is basically like the water flows from the higher altitude to lower altitude. The water will flow only towards the downside or towards the lower altitude. So that is how waterfall is also. Like it has a fixed path, it is just pulled towards the gravity. So likewise, the waterfall method is pulled towards the scope of the project. The main difference is in waterfall method, let's say we can take the example of construction of a house as example, like to build a house, we'll be finalizing the plan and the requirements with the engineer at the initial stage, very initial stage. So that is how construction of a building happens. So we fix the scope. Scope is the work that we are going to do. So we fix the scope which we want at the very initial stage of the project. And when the project is progressing, we just update the scope and control all the other factors in the project. So that is how a waterfall project goes. But in the recent times, after the IT revolution, the software development also required project management expertise. Why? Because like whenever there is a project, we need a project manager to keep the project on track and to get the work done by the teams. So after the IT revolution, in software development, we kind of had a hurdle where this traditional waterfall method was not applicable to software development. So that is when people came up with the other methodology called Agile. So let me also give an example to understand Agile. What is Agile? So basically, as per dictionary, the word Agile itself means the ability to change easily. So agile means like quickly responding to change or adapt to the change. So that is what agile is. In case of waterfall, the scope is fixed, everything is fixed. Why? Because like once we start a construction of a house, we cannot like change it easily. We cannot go and break the walls or pillars or beams and then reconstruct it easily. So that is how it is with waterfall. Or else if you're going to manufacture a mechanical project, mechanical product. So once after a casting is done, you cannot easily change the casting. So that is why these construction, mechanical, and other projects, other industries are using waterfall method, and mainly software and IT industries use the agile methodology nowadays. But still now, still we see a lot of mechanical industries are as well adapting agile. Why? Because agile is very cost efficient and very easy to adapt, and also very efficient in the work. So that is a quick glimpse of agile. And regarding the example, I'll say as we can take an example of creating an e-commerce website. An e-commerce website like Amazon or Flipkart. So to create the whole application, it will be taking 2 years of time for the team to create that application and roll out into live. So that is the main concern nowadays. Like we cannot take 2 whole years for one single application. Within that 2 whole years, the whole application may be obsolete. It may not be valid even as per the changing trends. So Agile gives us a way to do things in increment. Increment is like small steps which can be added little by little into the application or the product. So that is what agile is. So adapting agile, what we can do is like we can say to the team, I cannot wait for 2 years, but you can give me an application with the basic features. Like say, I just can select a product and then put it in the cart and then buy using cash on delivery. So this is a very simple task which can be done in 1 or 2 months. So this task can be completed in 1 or 2 months, and they will be releasing a version called e-commerce website 1.0. So this will be the first application within 1 month, and upon the next month, the customer can also add few other requirements. Like I can select the product, filter it, sort it, and also pay using UPI payments or net banking. So he can add some other requirements in the second release. This is like basically incremental releases. So we will have a base feature, and upon it we'll be including some increments or incremental features we can add, and then get it released in the subsequent releases. So that over the time we can like within 1 month we can have a working software, and also we can like use the software to the customers and roll it out into the market. So this is why agile got famous, and nowadays like everyone tend to switch to agile. So here is my presentation, and agile is it's nothing but a mindset change. Why? Because like since our childhood, we are taught to be in the waterfall model. Like whatever we do, we have everything fixed, and we are trained to be in the waterfall methodology. But now, going agile, we'll have few hurdles to change our whole mindset. So that is what the main challenge of adopting agile. So, and I also have a very good example of agile here in this link. So I'll show you guys later. So this is the waterfall or the traditional way. So in the traditional way, the process which we follow is we collect the requirements, we design based on the requirements, and we do the development. So this is in case of an IT project. This flow is for an IT project. So we design the software, and we develop the software, and we test the software, and we show or demo the software to the customer. And once the customer is okay, we deploy it into the market, and then we start from the scratch again. So we will be collecting the new requirements from the customer, and we will be designing to adapt the new requirements into the product, and then develop, and the cycle goes will be like ongoing, like will go again and again in the cycle. And as I said, agile is the way of incremental and iterative way. Incremental is like giving the product in steps with small increments, and iterative means repetition. So this cycle will repeat until the product is completed or the project is completed. So that is the iterative and
Sir,
incremental.
sir, sir, I think the slide is not changing. Students, did you guys see?
Guys, I'm in a slide called Going Agile. Are you guys able to see this slide?
Anyone, guys? Which slide you are having? You know, Kevin?
Sir, we are still in the first slide, sir.
The first slide.
Oh my God, I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Give me a moment. I think I shared only a specific window to you guys. Just a minute.
Yeah, now it's visible, sir. Now it's in the going agile.
I'll just share my entire screen so that you guys can see. Now it should be visible, I guess. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, so you guys could have stopped me earlier. Why are you guys not talking? Okay, anyway, like so, I'll just quickly run through. This is a mindset change, and this is the waterfall way or the traditional way: collecting requirements, design, development, testing, demo, and deploy and repeat. And agile is the way of incremental and iterative way. So it is like this agile methodology gives the product in increments and iterations. Iterations is nothing but a repetition. We'll be following the cycle again and again till the project is closed. And agile in agile methodology, there is a very interesting topic called sprints. Okay, can anyone, can an athlete from this group, can anyone tell me what is a sprint? Just simple, like you guys run, right? What can you guys tell me the difference between a sprint and a marathon or a long run? Anyone?
So
Anyone?
sprint is just a booster for 100 meters. Marathon is a slow race for stamina.
Yeah, you are right. You are right. Thank you so much. So, as you guys said, sprint is a short run, which will be like we'll be getting some boost, we'll be getting some energy, and then we'll be completing the short run within the time limit that we are planning to do it in. So that is the same in case of agile as well. So instead of working the complete scope or the complete project for 1 year, we'll be dividing the project into small sprints. So that sprint can be from 1 to 4 weeks. So basically, all the IT industries follow the sprints as 2 weeks. They'll be splitting the project life cycle into 2 weeks, and for each 2 weeks, we call it a sprint. So for each sprint, we will be selecting the amount of work that we will be doing in that sprint, and we will be getting those work done within that sprint. So it is like completing the task within the stipulated timeline for the project. So the main use of these sprints is like if in case of complex projects. So let's say like I'll take the e-commerce website example again. So I'll be developing something like a customer wants some requirements. These requirements will only be in the form of like verbal communication or written communication. So with this, the developer will have to use his imagination and create the e-commerce website with the basic facility of selecting the product, putting the product in cart, and buying the product with COD option. So let's take that example. And after one sprint, that is after 2 weeks, we'll be completing this task and we'll be showing a demo to the customer. So in this demo, customer will be saying like, when we are selecting, I want the selection to be highlighted for the customer. So when you are clicking on that product, the product should be highlighted. You can be showing a red box over the product so that the customer will know that the product is selected currently. So some feedbacks like this can come from the customer. So this is why agile is very important. So when we are like developing the product for one whole year and the customer do not even know what the product is, it is going to be tough. It is going to be meaningless. So that's why we can get early feedback loops. We can get early feedbacks from the customer, and then once the feedback is given, we can incorporate the feedbacks in the next sprint and work on the product again. So that is the main beauty of agile. And learn from the past sprints. So it is like in agile we have another process called as um, called as the sprint retrospective. Retrospection is nothing but the lessons learned. Once the sprint of 2 weeks is completed, we will be having a quick internal meeting with the internal team members to see what was done right or what went good and what went bad. So we'll be selecting those things that went well in the project, and then we will also be discussing the points which didn't go well, and we'll be discussing with the team with proper action items to improve on the bad areas. So that is what the lessons learned or sprint retrospective is about. So once we learn all these pointers in one sprint, we can adapt the same from the next sprint on. So that is one important feature or like one important advantages of going agile. Move on with major improvement points for the next sprint. Like say once we start analyzing the lessons learned, we can create some very highly impactful improvement points for the next sprint, and we can adapt the same from the next sprint on. So that's the last point about. So this is an overview of agile, and agile is a very big umbrella. So agile is to change, and below agile we have a lot of methodologies called Scrum, XP, extreme programming, pair programming, lean, Kanban. There are a lot of methodologies. So today, among these methodologies, 95% of the IT companies follow Scrum methodology. So let's see what is Scrum. Before saying that, I'll also go with the Agile values. So in the Agile methodology, the forefathers of Agile had given us 4 values and 12 principles to go Agile. So in case of an waterfall methodology or waterfall project management, we'll be focusing more on the processes and tools. Like say only after creating the basement of the building, you can construct the upper part of the building. So that is how a process is set in case of waterfall methodology. But in case of an software development, you need not care about the processes. I mean, processes should be there, but only minimal processes should be there. Individuals and interactions are more. Like we need to talk with the individuals, be it customer or be it within the team. We need to get feedbacks, discuss the things, and interact with the individuals, and then get the decisions done. So individuals and interactions over process and tools. Basically, this left part is more important than the right part. That is what this agile values is like intending to say us. So individuals and interactions over the processes and tools, working software over comprehensive documentation. So when you guys come into a corporate, the toughest thing that in any job role, the toughest thing that we will be doing is the documentation. So whenever we are doing something, we need to document it properly so that the next person, whoever comes, can read the document, or else when we submit it to the customer can review the document, and so on. But Agile says the working software is more important over comprehensive documentation. Still, we need documentation, but minimal documentation is required, not like an extended comprehensive documentation. So working software is more important than comprehensive documentation. And customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Agile also says that, like in case of an waterfall method, like say we'll be creating a contract between the civil engineer who's building the building or construction site and we'll be mentioning things like for per square feet he'll be charging 1800 rupees or 1900 rupees per square feet, and we'll be completing the building using these materials, and we'll be completing the building within 6 months. So this is like a contract. So in case of a waterfall methodology, a contract is very important, and we always used to negotiate for the contract, and it will be ending up in arguments. But Agile says customer collaboration is more important than contract negotiation. So we need to collaborate with the customer and then get to know his needs, know his change of needs, or like if customer wants some changes, we need to collaborate with the customer. Okay, customer, like if you want this change, I'll be deprioritizing some other item in our work list so that we can get this work done on time. So we need to talk it out to the customer and get this work done. So it is not like we can deny something, but we can alter our priorities after discussion with the customer. So that is what this customer collaboration is about, and responding to change over following a plan. As I said, like Agile do not value a plan. Like we do have a plan, but it is not like a fixed plan for a very long period of time. So we plan just for sprint. That is, whatever we plan, it is for just the 2 weeks of sprint. So responding to change. Once after the sprint is over, we'll have to respond to the change whatever the customer brings in. Customer will for some other changes in the software, like say as I said, like we need an highlighting option once when the product is selected in the e-commerce website. So that is one example. So likewise, in the next sprint we'll have to adapt this requirement from the customer and execute this requirement. And there are 12 agile principles. I'll just read you guys out. So it is like these 4 values form the basis of these 12 principles. So this 12 principles basically is like an exaggerated version of these 4 values. Sorry. So what I'll do is I'll be walking you through these points, and we can move on to the next topics. So the first principle is like our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. So early as in like instead of waiting for 1 year, we can just make one sprint for 2 weeks and then give some product to the customer, and we can deliver some value to the customer. Why? Because like instead of making the customer wait for 1 whole year, he can do something with that working software which we give in 2 weeks time or 1 month time. Welcome changing requirements even late in development. Agile processes harness change for the customer's competitive advantage. So we always should accept the changes from the customers. Like say, the market can be changing in case of the software development. Like customer will be requiring something for the first sprint, and he may change it in the next sprint. So we always need to be we always need to be welcoming the changes in the project. Deliver working software frequently from a couple of weeks to a couple of months with a preference to the shorter time scale. So it is basically again the same point. We need to deliver the working software within within 1 sprint or 2 sprints. So that is what the customer and the agile methodology expects us to do. Business people and developers must work together throughout the project. So business people will be like business analysts. So the business people will be the ones who will be contacting the customer, getting the requirements from the customer, and developers are the people who does the programming, testing, and the other stuffs. So these 2 guys should work hand in hand so that the requirements is passed on to the developers without any loss of information. Build projects around motivated individuals. So whenever like we are forming an agile team, we especially select the motivated individuals only. So the projects should be built around these motivated individuals, so that like they will be getting the work done. And the role of a project manager here is to support them to to remove the hurdles or any obstacles that they face in the project, and then give them the environment to grow. So this is the role of a project manager here in Agile. The most efficient and effective method of conveying information to and within a development team is face-to-face conversation. So the most efficient way, like say, teams should be co-located. Co-located means like the teams should be in the same location. So that is the best way to get a project done. So I'm sitting here hundreds of miles away from you guys. So if you guys had been like in a room and I had been able to give the training in a conference room with you guys, it would have been very efficient than this mode of training. So that is what Agile says too. So the most efficient way is to have face-to-face conversations. A working software is the primary measure of progress. So Agile says that I do not want any documents or any other things to measure the progress. So what is the result? The working software is the result. So the working software is the primary measure of progress. Agile processes promote sustainable development. The sponsors, developers, and users should be able to maintain a constant pace indefinitely. So sustainable development, say like it is not like we are going to develop something and then sit idle for some time and start again. So it promotes sustainable development. So for 2 weeks we'll be working on certain work items, and we'll be completing those work items by the end of that sprint. And on the second sprint we'll be selecting other couple of work items and we'll be completing the same. So that is how agile workflow is. Like it is not like one team will work and then complete and sit idle for some time. It is not like that. Every team will be continuously working, and then we'll be having a constant pace indefinitely. Continuous attention to technical excellence and good design enhances agility. So continuous attention to technical excellence. Like whenever the team is formed, we need to give more importance to the technical excellence of the team. And good design, like design is like the software design or the product design basically. So we need to design the product such that it reduces our workload. Like in mechanical, we have few methodologies like DFMA, if I'm not wrong. I studied it a long time ago. So design for manufacturing and assembly. So whenever we design a product, we need to make sure that it is designed in such a way that it is easy for us to manufacture that product. So without having some complicated contours, we can design the product in a simpler way. So that's what Agile also expect us to do. Simplicity, again the same point. We need to the art of maximizing the amount of work not done is essential. So whenever customer asks something, we need to give the customer the same thing what the customer asks for. We shouldn't overdo the requirements. So that is simplicity. The best architectures, requirements, and designs emerge from organizing teams. So self-organizing teams is nothing but like the teams who allocate the work within themselves and get managed within themselves. At regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective and then tunes and adjusts its to behavior accordingly. So it is like this is where the lessons learned comes into play. So we need to learn our lesson and then adapt it in the next sprint on. So that is Agile Principles. So it is like this is the project, and if we do not follow a proper methodology of Agile or Scrum, this is how the project will be. So this is a very interesting picture. So the team will not be going towards the common goal. So this is a very interesting depiction. So we are jumping into Scrum. Scrum is a framework under the Agile methodology. So Scrum is like very widely used, and it got very famous very recently. Like only 10 years back, it got very famous, and nowadays everyone is adopting Scrum. Give me a moment, guys. Yeah. So Scrum is a framework. Basically, like we can build on Scrum, and the Scrum team. Like let's say what I'll explain you guys Scrum in a different way. So is my screen visible, guys?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you guys able to see this screen, the Scrum framework at a glance?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Sorry. Okay, fine. So Scrum is like basically a framework which is under Agile methodology, and we'll be having three main roles in Scrum. One is the I'll go to the slide. So there are three main roles in Scrum. One is the product owner, the Scrum master, and the developers. To explain this, I'll show you a short, quick video. So let's go for this video. So you guys can see a person with the drums at the very initial stage of the boat, and we can see a lot of paddlers who are like who are working to make the boat move front. And we there is another person. He is the most important person in the boat. If you guys can see, there is a person in the last. At the last, there is a person. So this person directs the boat. He changes the direction so that the boat will be moving forward. So these three are the main team members in Agile or Scrum. So this person who motivates the team and who removes the obstacles of the team is the Scrum Master at the front. The drummer is the Scrum Master, and the person who's like changing the direction is the product owner, and the people who are working to make the boat move forward are the developers. So this is about Scrum, and this is about Scrum, and going forward, let's see like what more Scrum can offer. Okay.
Sir, actually, you are not audible, sir. You guys stay in line, ma. He will rejoin. So guys, I need you all to stay in line. Okay, he will rejoin, and right now he is connecting.
Sir, it's not clear, sir. Can you repeat it?
Actually, he will rejoin. He will rejoin, right? Please stay in line.
Okay.
So the meeting will be held up to 7:30 p.m. So I need you all to stay in line. He is right now connecting. And after the meeting, if you have any doubts, you guys can ask, or if, you can chat in the chat box also in the end of the session. Okay. And we will record the attendance in the end of the session. I will make the screenshot of your name lists in 3 different times. In the beginning of the program also I took the screenshot, all the names. And now I'm also taking the screenshots. In the end of the session, so I will take the screenshots. Okay.
Hey guys, I'm really sorry. My laptop crashed. I'm sorry. I was using a lot of softwares on the background, so my laptop crashed. I'm really sorry. Let me share my screen again. So you guys would have gotten an idea about who's the drummer in the boat. He is the Scrum Master, and the parallels who are the developers or who actually do the coding and get the project moving in the forward direction. The steerer is the person who is called as the product owner. So these three are the three designations in a Scrum team. So that is where Scrum is very important about, and this is what Scrum is about. So the product owner, you can see here, he is the technical person in a Scrum team. So this product owner, what will he will be doing is he'll be gathering the requirements from the customer and creating the list of work that has to be done by the team. So this guy is like the technical lead or the technical head of the project. So he's the product owner, and he'll be creating the product backlog. So this product backlog is very important for the project. Well, because this product backlog dictates what is the work that has to be done. Guys, again, are you guys able to see my screen, and am I clearly audible? Just to reconfirm.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Yeah, good. So this product backlog is like the Bible for the project. Why? Because like this product backlog has the list of work that we'll have to do. So this product backlog will be created by the product owner, and then this is like the whole product backlog. So this will be taking like 1 year or 2 year to complete this whole product backlog. So going Scrum, we will not be handling all these product backlog at once. So what we'll be doing is we'll be going for a sprint planning meeting. This meeting is like a meeting with the development team, the product owner, and the Scrum Master. These three members will be there in this meeting, and this team will decide what are the tasks that we will be considering for this sprint. Let's say the sprint for 2 weeks. For this 2 weeks, what all will be the tasks that we will be taking from the product backlog into the sprint backlog. So once this meeting is completed, we will be getting the sprint backlog document. So this sprint backlog is the Bible till the sprint is over. That is till for the 2 weeks. So now we will not be concentrating about the product backlog. We now will be just concentrating about the sprint backlog, and we will be trying to get the sprint done. So for these 2 weeks, we'll be like you can see this arrow mark. This arrow mark is like in a curve. Why? Because these processes are repeated. Like this all these processes is for one sprint, and again the second sprint goes on, the third sprint goes on, fourth sprint goes on. So that is why whenever we represent a sprint, we have this curved arrow mark like a U-turn. So that is how the sprint is represented. So when the sprint is running, we'll be having another meeting called as the daily scrum. Daily scrum is like nothing but like whenever like we'll be having daily meetings like in schools and colleges we might have like daily prayers, right? We'll be there, the principal or the HOD will be giving the daily updates or the daily tasks that we'll have to do. So that is how the daily scrum meeting also happens. So daily scrum meeting is like a quick meeting with the team to discuss what was done yesterday and what we are going to do today, and if there are any blockers or hurdles to complete that task. So this daily scrum meeting happens each and every day throughout one sprint. That is for throughout the 2 weeks time. So this is the daily scrum. And once this sprint time for 2 weeks is completed, there will be an workable software at the end of this sprint. So this workable software will be called as the increment. So once this sprint is completed, we'll be having an increment. That is the result of the sprint. So once we have this increment, we'll be going for sprint review meeting. Sprint review meeting is nothing but we'll be showing a demo to the customer to see if the customer is satisfied with the product, or if he needs any changes to the product, he can give the feedback to us, and we will be incorporating the same in the next sprint. So this is the sprint review. This sprint review happens along with the customer, with the product owner and the internal team members. And the sprint retrospective, as I already explained, the sprint retrospective is nothing but the lessons learned. So we'll be discussing on what went good in this sprint and what went bad in this sprint, and what are all the areas that we can improve so that all these bad items will be like getting better in the next sprint. So this is about sprint retrospective. So with the sprint retrospective, sorry. So with this sprint retrospective, the official sprint comes to a close. So if you can see, there's a legend here. The items with the blue round marks are the artifacts. We call it as the Scrum artifacts or the Scrum documents. So in this sprint or the Scrum cycle, we have three main documents. The first one is the product backlog, which is created by the product owner. The second one is the sprint backlog, which contains the task that we'll be doing in one sprint. And the third one is the product increment. So we'll be like having a document for the product increment on how it works and the other things. And the ones with the golden circle is the meeting or ceremonies. We call it as Scrum ceremonies. So these ones in the golden circle are the meetings that we follow in one sprint. So the first one is the sprint planning, where the team comes together and we'll be planning for what we'll be doing in this current sprint. And the sprint itself is considered to be a meeting. Let's say like a sprint is a big vessel, and all the other 4 meetings will be inside this vessel. So sprint is also considered to be a meeting. And this daily scrum is also a meeting where like we daily discuss on the progress of the project and any other hurdles that we face in the project. And then the sprint review and the sprint retrospective. These are the 5 ceremonies of sprint, and that is the basic framework of scrum. So we'll be just having a couple of more slides in this. So Scrum actually requires a Scrum Master. So basically, I'm a Scrum Master. I'm a project manager. So Scrum requires a Scrum Master to foster an environment where a product owner orders the work for a complex problem into a product backlog. As we saw, Scrum Master want to support the product owner where he can order the complex work problem into the product backlog. So he'll be translating the customer requirements into workable tasks for the development team. The Scrum team turns a selection of work into an increment of value during a sprint. So for each sprint, in the sprint planning meeting, they select the amount of work that they do, and then they convert the work into an increment of value. That is nothing but a working software. So a valuable increment will be created at the end of each sprint. The Scrum team and its stakeholders inspect. Okay, the term stakeholders, I may not have explained it earlier. The term stakeholders is nothing but like members. Like stakeholders are the ones who are affected by the project or who can affect the project. So who are all there in the project team are basically the stakeholders of the project. So the Scrum team and its stakeholders inspect the results and adjust for the next sprint. So inspecting the result, where this happens is in the sprint review meeting, the customer will inspect the result. The customer will see if the product is okay or if we can include some other changes in the product, and then they give feedback for the Scrum team, and the Scrum team adapts the changes in the next sprint. And this process goes on and on till the project is closed. That is about Scrum. And we have 5 values of Scrum. Commitment, we are committed to the product goal and the sprint goal, and we are very focused towards the work that we have selected. So customer will not ask to select the work, but we select the work what we do for the sprint, and we should be very focused on this work, and we should be very open within the team so that we can quickly discuss what are the hurdles that we are facing or what are the changes that we need to do. And we need to respect the other team members, each and everyone, so that we can get constructive feedback from others. And courage, we need a lot of courage to say no as well. So that these 5 are the Scrum values. The Scrum team. So the Scrum team, the fundamental unit of Scrum is the Scrum team. Scrum team is basically like very small team. The maximum number of people that can be in the Scrum team is 10. So only 10 people can be in the Scrum team, and no sub teams is allowed. So the Scrum team consists of only one Scrum Master, one product owner, and the developers. As I said, Scrum Master is the drummer who motivate the team, who gets the team gets the hurdles or the challenges faced by the teams cleared, and the product owner is a technical guy who translates the requirements from the customer into workable tasks and creates the product backlog. And the developers are the actual programmers who code or create the program and give the software, working software. The Scrum team is a cohesive unit of professionals focused on one objective at a time, the product goal. So we all work towards the product goal. and we need to be cross-functional. So the team shouldn't have just like say if the team is working on some project, it shouldn't only have like people who are able to work on Java only. At times we need people who should work who are able to work on Python or other languages. So that is what cross-functional means. And this is an important terminology, self-managing. They internally need to decide who does what, when, and how. So we need not want customer or some other person to come in and ask them to do these works in these time. So the Scrum team is basically a self-managing team, and the size is typically 10 or fewer people. As I said, it is Scrum team is a very small team. If Scrum becomes too large, we can be dividing the Scrum team into multiple Scrum teams. So for one Scrum team, we are allowed to have only one Scrum Master and one product owner. So if we are dividing into multiple Scrum teams, each and every team will be having one Scrum Master, one product owner, and their group of developers. So even if we have a large Scrum team, a number of Scrum teams, we all share the same product goal, same product backlog, and the same product owner, so that the technical aspects of the project remained unchanged, even when we have a lot of other teams. So this is regarding the Scrum team. And Scrum roles. So as we saw, like there are only 3 members inside the Scrum. One is the product owner, the Scrum Master, and the developers. So we can see what a developer has to do in the project. So the developer is committed to creating any aspect of an usable increment each sprint. So the developer is the person who is responsible to create the working increment or usable increment, or in other words, the usable software at the end of each sprint. Developers are always accountable for creating a plan for the sprint. The developers choose what work has to be done in that particular sprint, and these developers are the ones who are creating the sprint backlog. Instilling quality by adhering to a definition of done. So this definition of done is an interesting terminology. Definition of done is nothing but we'll be doing work continuously. So when can we consider the work done? So we'll be having some acceptance criteria. If we are satisfying these criteria, we can consider the work to be done. If I'm developing an e-commerce website, I'm giving the criteria like I should be able to select the product, move the product into the cart, and then buy the product using cash on delivery options. These are the acceptance criteria, and these acceptance criteria are called as definition of done. So once we accomplish these criteria, the product can be considered done. Adapting their plan each day towards the sprint goal. So each day we have daily Scrum meeting, and we'll be adapting, like whenever there is some gaps, we'll be closing the gaps and bridging the gaps, and then adapting our plan daily, holding each other accountable as professionals. So it is not like one person is responsible for anything. Like the whole Scrum team is responsible for the shortcomings that we are facing. So the second team member is the product owner. The product owner is the technical person of the team who translates the requirements from the customer, and then it converts the requirements into workable tasks for the developing team. So this development team will be referring to the product backlog created by the product owner. So he is accountable for maximizing the value of the product resulting from the work of the Scrum team. So he guides the development team to work on the technical aspects, and he maximizes the value of the product. The product owner is also accountable for effective backlog management. So effective backlog management is like product backlog management is like he'll be having the whole list of tasks that has to be completed, so that the team will be selecting a particular bunch of tasks for each sprint. So product backlog management or product backlog refinement, which means like developing and guys, can you be on mute? Thank you. So developing and explicitly communicating the product goal. So the product owner need to communicate the product goal to the developers very explicitly, so that the developers will understand what we are running towards to, and we will be accomplishing the goals, creating and clearly communicating the product backlog items. So he's the person who creates the product backlog, and he clearly communicates the product backlog to the developers. Ordering the product backlog items, he can order what are the items to be worked on by the development team, ensuring that the product backlog is transparent, visible, and understood. So this product backlog, the list of tasks that we are creating, is has to be transparent, visible, and easy to understand by the development team. And the last point, it's very important. The product owner is only one person. It is not a committee. It is not a group of people. It is just only one person who is responsible for the whole Scrum team. The most important role is the Scrum Master. The Scrum Master is accountable for establishing Scrum as defined in the Scrum Guide. Scrum Masters are true leaders who serve the Scrum team and the larger organization. So the Scrum Master is the one who controls the whole Scrum team and gets the work done from the Scrum team, and he trains the Scrum team for to adapt Agile methods and the Scrum methods. So the next point is the Scrum Master serves the Scrum team in several ways, including coaching the team members in self-management and cross-functionality, helping the team focus on creating high-value increments and meeting the definition of done, causing the removal of impediments. Impediments is like the hurdles or the challenges that we face in the work. So Scrum Master is responsible for removing the impediments from our work